One of the more popular topics, particularly in the 80s and 90s, was organizational storytelling. And the idea was that employees in all organizations told stories, and those stories said something about the organization and the relationship of the employees to the organization. And so one of the things I talk about is, some of the ways in which stories can be circulated in the organization to help facilitate or at least reinforce a covert program of radical demotivation.
So what, you just tell stories and that's supposed to work? I mean, what kinds of stories do you tell?
No, there are a couple different types of stories that you tell. So for example, stories about company success, okay? Those should very, very prominently feature executives in the story as the main protagonists. You should always talk about, what so-and-so did. Okay, now it could be that, the executive that you name is so far up the totem pole that he or she had very little to do with how things actually got implemented. But the idea is you want the leadership of the company to be the icons of success in the company. At the same time, the rest of the employees should remain absolutely nameless and anonymous. That's the idea. Now, that's with success stories. With failure stories, you should do the inverse. And that is, you should name employees, okay, who are responsible for the failure, or groups of employees, okay? So for example, I recently told a story where I very specifically referenced our IT group and the DBAs in particular, all right? And I named them by name. You all know that we sent out a catalog last month. And most of you probably realize that the catalog has not had the effect that we had intended. Rather than driving sales, the catalog has produced lots of complaints in the customer service department. Well, we did some research to find out why, and we found out that the reason why is that the DBAs, Judd and Kevin, sent the wrong file to the printer. Rather than sending the list of names to the printer of people who said that they were either interested in getting marketing material from us or had a history of buying lots of products from us, they sent the file to the printer of names of people who said they never want to hear from us again. Consequently, we spent a lot of money, $50,000 on a catalog, and it generated no sales. So I talked about them, and then I talked about how the executives were patiently enduring and forbearing with their failure, okay? So that there is a clear juxtaposition between the, patient, forbearing, enduring executive and the employee who is doing things that could potentially destroy the organization. I do have some good news, however. It's not all bleak. As a result of the art of demotivation, I was named Employee of the Month for April 2005. Okay, so. And to celebrate, I got a new car, and it's right out there in the warehouse. Okay, now, as always, I would say, look but don't touch. So we try and get the employee to realize that they stay employed not because of their unique value or their supreme value or their market value, but because of the compassion and the patience and the forbearance of me and the other executives.
Is that the truth?
Yeah, to some degree.